Hello, I want to share two books that have profoundly impacted my life, and I want to share them. The first one being Dr. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, and the second one being David Goggins, an ultra marathoner and former Navy SEAL, one of the hardest men, if not the hardest, in modern times. It's called Can't Hurt Me by Mr. Goggins. And I haven't been reading my whole life. It's only been the past 2 years. And these two, the principles that's laid upon in the lessons of these two remarkable people have been something that I've been practicing and I want to hold throughout my life. And I want to share some of the lessons so that you guys can implement into your lives or be able to experience the reading experience for yourself. And while I continue to explore my curiosities, I want to reinforce that it's not about the amount of books I read, but it's about how truly I understand the concept and to articulate it. Again, knowledge isn't power, but it's the utility of knowledge that is really powerful. I feel like I have a little understanding of some of the lessons, and if it has impact on my life, I believe it could do the same for others. So let's first start off with 12 Rules for Life. A lot of the 12 rules I don't have listed down inside my head, but there's 4 that really stood out to me. Not by word for word, but the first rule was stand up with your back straight. And Dr. Peterson talks about lobsters and the dominance hierarchy, and by protracting your scapula and putting your shoulders up, you're practicing confidence. And for me, doing that little act, it reminds me of the rule, and reminding myself to practice confidence but also humility. It's a key principle. Another one, this one is really important, just compare yourself not with others but who you are with yesterday. And this is rule number 4. This has really helped me navigate my negative emotions. I'm a man with a lot of them: jealousy, anger, hostility, resentment, loneliness, despair. And I bet you guys do as well. Sadness, depression, anxiety, all of it, all of our thoughts that never stop talking. And comparison is a big one, and it deprives you of happiness in life. And by reminding myself to compare with myself from yesterday, it reminds me that I'm not playing a game with others, but my own game, compared with who I was yesterday. And if I'm in a better spot than yesterday, I'm doing something correctly. And although maybe it could be an illusion, it sets me in the path that I want to be headed. So that's rule number 4. The next rule is to always remember that others know something that you don't. And this relates with being a good listener. At times I realize that I speak a lot about things that I have no knowledge upon. And by recognizing that I don't know anything, recognizing my ignorance, I'm able to take in more things. Charlie Munger, who worked alongside Warren Buffett, he also has a lot of life lessons and a very intelligent human being. He doesn't speak unless he knows the other person's perspective just as well or even better. He doesn't want to hold an opinion, and if he does lean into an ideology, he makes sure he puts himself kind of outside of the box and recognizes that he is leaning into something that he might not have the full picture or the details or a good understanding of. So recognizing that you need to understand that you can learn from everybody, and being open-minded is a key virtue that I want to uphold. And another rule that just popped up is surrounding yourself with people who want the best of you. That's another rule that Mr. Peterson talks about. It's okay to be able to let go. In order to gain something, at times you need to forego. And if you hang on to things that are not beneficial in any way, shape, or form, it could be doing you more damage in the long term. And by understanding to surround yourself, whether they have already passed or in the present, to pick out the people who want the best for you, you're doing yourself a favor. And one last rule that I want to mention, alongside the many others, is to speak the truth. And this one is really hard because you have to give yourself responsibility, as it's so easy to lie and to justify it. So by giving yourself responsibility and forcing yourself to be transparent, it makes you vulnerable. And although at times you don't want to, it's something that you need to constantly practice. Radical transparency and openness. And this is something I need to practice more and more. And on to the next book is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I really admire Mr. Goggins for his mindset and who he has built. He overcame statistics as someone living in poverty and rejecting norms of mediocrity to build the man he wanted to become, and found that. He desired a yearning, and he manifested into reality through hard work. And there's so many life lessons and resonance that I feel, and I'm grateful to live in a time where he exists and where he shares his experiences, as he has helped and impacted millions of people around the world. In this modern age where you're gratified, you're rewarded by mediocrity, he challenges others to be uncommon amongst uncommon men. I want to share 3 things. First, in order to callous your mind, you have to bear suffering. and seek challenges. He embraces battles and continues to seek them and views them as opportunity to become harder. And is portrayed through his ultra marathons, through battling with sickle cell anemia, and also through broken legs and surgeries, breaking the pull-up record, defying all odds, and to become a winner. How amazing is that? Another thing is the 40-60 rule. He shares that how we only give 40% of what we are truly capable of. 60% is never even tapped. So just by always reminding yourself that you always have more in the tank to go an extra mile, to do a little more. There's never enough, and just having that hunger, never satisfied mentality, which is hard to maintain. It's quite beautiful. And he also has a cookie jar and an accountability mirror where he was looking at himself in the mirror when he was around 300 pounds, facing the harsh reality of his circumstances and telling he wanted to change. And by overcoming small, big obstacles, he puts them in his mental cookie jar, and nobody can take that away from him. He owns it. I'm proud that he has built such a strong cookie jar nobody can take away, because that's something he created and that's something he owns. So those are the principles. And just aside from that, I highly recommend checking out on Audible his audiobook if reading could be a little challenging for when you're just starting out. I started by reading through listening to audiobooks. Can't Hurt Me's audiobook, you can hear David Goggins as well as his ghostwriter having kind of a conversation while also reading. So it's a great experience to have, and I really recommend it. And some of the lessons I hope you guys can implement into your lives, because it has deeply impacted mine. And I hope to maintain and share them throughout the world, as it empowers individuals to navigate this harsh world. And giving ourselves responsibility is really hard. At times it's even courageous to live because it's so hard. No matter what you bear, what your sufferings are, the will to continue and to give yourself responsibility, it's a daunting task. It's easier to blame, to resent, to take away meaning. I've lived it. But that's just too sad. There seems no escape almost. And I want to challenge and lend out hands to people down there, and even amongst, because their true potentials are beyond our imagination and should not be confined by anyone's perceptions. And the irony of responsibility is that we often care more about others than ourselves. I truly think the best of humanity lies within us. And we are really wonderful people because we all desire the betterment of others. Whether we think it or not, I truly think we do. Humans are amazing. We are amazing. And there's just so many things that distort so many experiences, and what we see, our experiences. We may be limited by that, but we need to always have faith that that's not the case. We construct how we want to live and for our future generations. And to always have that, even when it feels like there's no hope. But it's so damn hard to keep. I don't have the answers. Nothing. But I hope by sharing some of the things that I've learned, the principles, the lessons, that you guys can start implementing and giving yourself power. I'd like to end with a quote from Goggins. I have a list, and here's one of them. If you have any mental toughness, any fraction of self-discipline, the ability to not want to do it, but still do it, if you get through doing the things you hate to do, on this other side, there is greatness. By David Goggins. I hope this helps. I hope that all of you guys give responsibility and seek discomfort. And if this isn't the right moment, it's okay. It will come when opportunities will always come, as long as you're looking for them. But I hope you give yourself the power to prepare for harder days. That's all. Thank you. And I hope to talk to you soon. Peace.